to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. According to a newspaper article, some Tobago contractors are not bothered by the increased cement prices because they say that the construction sector is dead. Cement is expected to increase by 5%, with a 42.5 kilogram bag now costing $47.83 before VAT, going up by $3.54. Contractors said that the only ongoing major work on the island was the construction of a few private buildings. They explained that the construction sector slowed down during the COVID-19 pandemic and had hoped that the President Fali Augustine-led administration would change that. However, they were disappointed. Meanwhile, in sport, Tobago's Oceanus Dragon Boat Club won 2 gold medals and 1 silver at the Pan American Club Crew Cup Championship in Panama over the weekend. The Tobago-based team competed against Dragon Boat teams from the US, Canada, the Caribbean, and Latin America. However, they proved to be a force to be reckoned with, when they won 2 gold medals on day 1 of the competition. While they captured a silver medal on day 2 of the competition, they were the highest overall scoring team with an average time of 10 minutes, 0.052 seconds in the 2,000-meter race. And nationally, Trinidad and Tobago gets set to welcome its second female president. Her Excellency Paula May Weeks officially steps down from the role today and makes way for the new president, Christine Kangaloo. According to reports, all systems are in place for a seamless inauguration and swearing-in ceremony to take place at the grandstand at the Queen's Park Savannah later this morning. Kangaloo will be sworn in by Chief Justice Ivor Archie and will sit as the 7th president of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, viewers, that was the news in 90 seconds. A lot of exciting things happening here. We're certainly looking forward to our new president to be sworn in. The ceremony starts at 10 a.m. So we are looking forward for it, and we're excited to see what her tenure would be like. In the meantime, we are going to switch gears, and we are going to be speaking about bees in Tobago. So we have Mr. Gladstone Solomon on, who is one of our, I guess, one of the more recognized beekeepers here in Tobago. And he is a country mentor for Ionola Apiculture Collective.
Correct.
And he's going to speak to us today on beekeeping for the Tobago Police Youth Clubs.
Correct.
All right. Good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, Candice. Good morning to your viewers. As always, it's a pleasure to be here, especially when I have to talk about beekeeping.
All right. First of all, I want you to tell me a bit about this Ionola Apiculture Collective. What is it?
Well, Ionola, I understand, is the traditional name for St. Lucia. And so it's a St. Lucia-based beekeeping organization that partnered with the UNDP, UE, and several other organizations and beekeeping professionals to craft what is called the first Caribbean online beekeepers training course. It started during the COVID period, so it proved to be very valuable. There was an initial program with 6 Caribbean countries and one country from the Far East participating. Online, of course, a certifiable course. Beyond that, now, this is where we are now, the program has been extended by the UNDP, the United Nations Development Program. The program has been extended to include interest groups from Trinidad and Tobago. So currently, the Police Youth Club, and it's a Trinidad and Tobago package, the Tobago clubs, and there are about 20 clubs, I understand, in Tobago. 9 of them have signed up. There are possibly, my understanding is about 34 applicants.
Nice.
But 16 persons are actually hands-on involved in doing the course, which the package includes 17 online theoretical models, and we have a 10-session field exercise, which we do once per week. We've had 3 such sessions before.
Great. So why bees? Why is it important for our young people to get involved in beekeeping?
Very good. You know, for young minds, exposure to bees and the vocation of beekeeping attracts the imagination. It causes you to understand the linkage between plants, the food we eat, between humans and nature. And it makes the point that bees are so critical to human existence, to terms we like to use regularly, biodiversity and this sort of thing. So for the students who participated, looking inside of a beehive for the very first time was a wonder to them. You know, it would have been a completely new experience to see thousands of 6-legged insects, beneficial insects, collaborating in a very organized and structured way towards producing primary products, which, by the way, is a side product for the real purpose of beekeeping. The real purpose being pollination and putting food on the table.
Certainly. I mean, and as I said, talking about putting food on the table, I mean, the bee industry is quite lucrative because I don't know if viewers, you've checked the price of honey recently. It's about
200 for 750 ml bottle.
So there's quite a bit of money in beekeeping.
Yeah.
And what about the other products that can come out of it, the value-added products?
But let me just for a minute, I trust it's okay, dispel the notion that it is, you know, extremely profitable. You're dealing with significant input costs, and it's a seasonal activity. You are the whims and fancy of nature at a time when we have such variations in weather. So like with all agricultural enterprises, there's a level of risk involved in it.
Certainly.
Right? And of course, the main driving factor is the demand-supply situation. We simply don't produce enough. Honey, the primary product, the most popular primary product, I tend to say it used to be sort of poor person's medicine. You know, in the earlier days when you make a bush tea and you sweeten it with some honey, and yeah, I ask people what they use honey for, and the amount of purposes would surprise you. People get their dreams, their insights as to what to blend their honey with. They use it for religious purposes. So it's, to me, an integral part of person's lifestyle. And yeah, it's a great product. You get honey, which is the principle. You get beeswax. We know long time the shoemakers and tailors and seamstresses, even the hairdressers would mix some beeswax into their hair. That's the second primary product. We have bee pollen, which is a protein source, honey being a carbohydrate source. And we have 2 lesser-known products, one called royal jelly, a mystique in its own self, because that really is the product that causes a queen bee, or it differentiates a queen bee from a regular worker bee, in that through the consumption of royal jelly, throughout its life, the queen bee ovaries has developed to a point where it could lay. The worker bee's ovaries are not developed. And then the final product, which is a natural antibiotic, is one called propolis. It's made from the resin of trees and some natural compounds and so on, which sanitizes the hive, you know, and it could be used for lozenges, skin infections, and so on.
Well, what kind of impact has climate change and, you know, just the weather patterns that we're experiencing, what has that had on our bee population?
Yes, significant. Take, for example, last year with the excessive amount of rain, the industry nosedived. An astute beekeeper would leave, you got to leave some of the products, honey, pollen, that's bee food. We are supposed to take the surplus. So if you miscalculated, especially with the severity of the weather last year, your colonies would have suffered, like with anything else. So bees are also environmental monitors, so that you can collect the pollen sample, trace it through analysis, and get a sense of the species in a particular geographic space. So in my mind, the main rich forest reserve is ideal for that sort of thing if you have some bees there and you want to know what species they are. Yeah.
So with this program that you are engaging with the police youth clubs, what is the goal? What are you hoping to achieve?
Right. So the idea is to, and let me just say how impressed I am with the enthusiasm and the interest. We've had about 16 members. And the idea is to expose them, as is the general principle attached to positive values, to positive things in the development, and to help them in terms of their own understanding of the natural environment and the linkages associated. It is hoped, too, that some of them, if not all of them, would at some stage pick up beekeeping, and there are several aspects. You could be a hardcore beekeeper selling the primary products, or you could be someone who would use the primary products and get into value added. So your face cream, your lipstick, your soaps, and so on. I want to ask you, Candace, whether you use that because it is reputed to, have exceptional good value. It's
Yes.
about as natural as you can get it.
Certainly.
And our body responds to things that are natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, is this only open to the police youth clubs, or can other youth groups or young people get involved?
I love that question. Ideal question. The Police Youth Club Trinidad and Tobago, they are super proactive in terms of finding opportunities. So they applied to the United Nations Development Program. They have a small grant program for an island-wide Trinidad and Tobago project, which would train some of their members in beekeeping through the online theoretical model and then the practical sessions, right? The idea is, and this part we haven't reached there yet, is that the youth clubs would have their own apiary, right? Some of the seniors in the club are also being trained. So we have a program that's running concurrently in Trinidad and in Tobago. Right now, subject to location of an apiary, I'm using one of my apiaries. We come there once a week for about 2 hours, and they've had significant exposure so far. So they're going to see the whole practical aspect of beekeeping, from how you expand to how you extract, some marketing aspects, right? And let me just say the online tutorials, a mix of professionals were engaged in designing the courses. So if I can just add some of the courses, the online courses would include economics of apiculture, ecological importance of bees, well, the basic honeybee biology, inspecting the colonies, value-added products, which I know is a section that they're looking forward very much to.
Certainly.
So other groups are welcome to participate. What they'll have to do is to contact Ayanola, and I can spell this out, Iyanola, apiculture.org. That's their website. And their email address is ayanola.apiculture@gmail.gov. There's all the information there. If that's too long to recall, then you can get on to me. I'll pass on the information. I'm at 682-9467. So it's an opportunity, Candace, if you have not necessarily a youth group, it could be a group of seniors too, because the thing with beekeeping, you could be exposed to it very early in your life, and it could be sometime later that you may enter.
And we need more beekeepers because
Exactly.
without the bees, you can't have a vibrant agriculture sector. And then food security becomes a challenge.
Exactly.
It's all connected.
Exactly. Thanks for that input. You've been exposed, no doubt.
Just a wee bit. Just a wee bit.
It's enough. It's super interesting.
Yes.
You see, we see honey and we see the products, but often we don't have a sense of where they come from and the processing of it. And I think in some persons' minds, it's further than it really is.
Yeah.
You know, Tobago should reach a stage where we have ideally 2 beekeepers in every community to service the consumers on the island.
Certainly, and that's something towards that we need to work towards.
Yes.
And I want to thank you so much, Mr. Solomon, for being on with us and to sharing with us just to keeping us keeping that part of agriculture into perspective.
Yes.
Beekeeping. So if you want to learn more, if you have youth groups, if you have young people around you, reach out to Mr. Solomon and get connected. He is very good in terms of explaining to you how it all works, and it's actually a lot easier than you think it is, and not as dangerous as you think it is either, right? There's a lot there to help. So, Mr. Gladstone, Solomon, thank you again. And viewers, we've got a lot more coming up for you after the break.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Candace.